Good day, everyone. In this retake video, we are still dealing with the unit circle and the Pythagorean. And we are going to finish the unit circle in this lesson. Alright, announcements. This is an old video. I posted this a few days back. I just had a little bit of a sound issue from some of you guys, so I'm doing this again so you could totally hear what's being said. So we already done did the quiz, that was the Kahoot. You guys are already getting your Chromebooks, and I'm gonna give you a little bit more time to finish Project 1. So this just means that Thursday of this coming week, before you go virtual, I need for you to have that typed out and finished. 2 pages, real project one. Make sure you give me all my details. Please do not commit academic dishonesty, because I'm going to find out, and once I find out, it's a 0. Thanksgiving work will be assigned. You guys going to have it. You can miss school you want to, but once I put it in Google Classroom, it is still to your responsibility. So, I wasn't here. That's not going to work. Make sure when you are absent, you're taking care of business from the house. I have told all of you this. I haven't called your parents, said, hey, I know she missed days or he missed days, but I have work that he or she could do online that needs to be done. I'll be working on grades, always getting yourself ready, see where you stand. Also, Wednesday and Thursday of the coming week, you guys are going to have a test. It's all about the unit circle, it's all about factoring, it's also about the precise definition of mathematics. I have thought about getting y'all a unit circle, but no. I thought about getting you a study guide, not needed. Because you're going to study everything, all the notes that I gave you. Every note. Anything you missed, you need to go and rewatch those videos that I have posted. I made you guys subscribe for a reason. So you choose not to subscribe. And like, you never told us this. You wasn't paying attention. And you didn't look at those videos that I have told you to look at. Alright, due to the copy issues, you're going to be running a lot of things down. So, no more handouts being issued. My test. Hopefully, you guys have your Chromebooks, because you don't, you're going to have a hard challenging time to get my test done, because you guys have been issued Chromebooks. It falls to your responsibility. It's not my responsibility to do anything but to put that test online. So, make sure you have your Chromebooks. Again, I'm not a Chromebook. No. There's only very few exceptions where I will make a paper copy for a student. Again, the copier is down, so I have to spend my own little money to go make copies. But again, I'm not obligated to do that. I will do that for very, 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 very few. Alright, reminders. You're not by phones and stuff like that when you're on your phones. It does take about your grades, so make sure that y'all get yourself together. Tutoring. Um, I would not have tutoring this week. The after school tutor, I won't have it. Again, I do not have after school tutoring this week. I'm unavailable. If you're struggling, just see me in one of my classes. Don't come in my classes coming up, because I'm gonna throw you right back out. Do not do anything like that. You in my class, you're gonna spend no more than 30 minutes at a time, and I'm sending you back to class. Alright? Remember 2A, 4B is my off day. I'm in my off period, so come see me there. Okay. We have to discuss more about the ACT, because when you guys come back, you guys will be dealing with the ACT again. Many of you guys not where you needs to be. I need for you guys to step on up before it's too late. You know, all these are for purposes. You could go to college nowadays without even having a good enough ACT score. Jesus, that could even pay you for a ride. But here's the thing about going to college: if you go to a decent one, if you score low on your ACT score, even if they say you don't have to give us ACT score, you're gonna have to spend money in taking remediation classes. If you don't like teachers who are on you being aggressive and all this, that, and above, you may want to do well on the ACT because if you do not, you're gonna go to college, you're gonna face these teachers in your college in your freshman year you ain't gonna like. In fact, there have been many studies have shown kids who get into college with full rides with low ACT score tend to drop out because they can't handle the pressure. There's no, can I redo this? Well, you ain't getting that from me to begin with anyway. That's not reduced for me. So just think of Mr. Howard times 10. That's what your college teacher's going to be like. All right, we had talked about these triangles to death. We know that 30 degrees in terms of the trig ratios for just that 30. The long leg is going to be the length of square root 3, which is going to be your x. This long short leg is going to be your y, and this is going to be 1. And then your hypotenuse is going to be twice the short leg, which makes it 2. That's the hypotenuse is your radius. The hypotenuse is your radius. The 45 degrees, the shortest and the long have the same measures, but the hypotenuse is square root 2. 60, the ratios are exactly the same as the 30. However, you're going to rotate around. So the short leg is going to be right here in the x-axis, which is 1. Your hypotenuse is still going to be 2, and your long leg is going to be on your y side. So just remember, again, I'm doing this on the mouse, so you're going to just bear with it. Be humble that I does this for you. Your adjacent leg is going to be your x-axis, and your opposite is going to be your y leg. Alright? And we know that the radius is your hypotenuse. Your radius is your hypotenuse. Your radius is the hypotenuse. Those are three things that are essential. Okay, I'm gonna go quick through this particular video because there's a lot of things that you have did that you already know what to do. If you're struggling, like I said, replay those old videos that I have posted. All right, so on your test, you really need to know how to prove the Pythagorean theorem. Again, I'm not going over that. That's something that once you write it down, you should have been practicing that. So if you have not done so, spend the time to practice, 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 practice. Because this test in itself is not a challenge at all. So remember, we proved the Pythagorean by letting xy be any point on the circle, with the center being at the origin, and we have the radius of 1. So this is very, 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 very critical. And then we use the equation of the circle, we plug in 0, and we get to this. This become the new Pythagorean. This is just extra work, showing you that is the Pythagorean because you take the square root of both sides, and you get this right here. A squared plus b squared equals c squared. We know a is always going to be, a in this case, is going to be your adjacent always, and your b is your opposite. And I'm not going to write down c because you know c is going to be your hypotenuse. So again, it's just the same stuff that you've been doing. So a becomes x, b becomes y, and if you get your new trig ratio, coordinate points is going to be cosine, comma, sine. Okay? Again, pause this video, just write it down, commit it to memory. And these are just facts that we already talked about. I already showed you about, the equation of a circle becomes our new Pythagorean theorem. So you say a squared plus b squared is c squared, you're going to use that equation. And also this equation, cosine plus sine squared equals 1, is also the Pythagorean theorem. And like I told you, x comma y is replaced with cosine sine, as a b is also the same thing. So you're going to be able, when you take your test, to identify all those pieces. All right. So why don't you pause this particular video right now and just do this? Do this just to see what you are at. This is something that I'm not going to talk about because I already did that in the previous video. So just do it, just see what you can remember. So pause right now. Welcome back. So let's see, do we match our answers here? You got all of that? Yeah, you got all of that. Good job. All right. So I need for you to do this one. You try doing this one. Pause and just do it. Welcome back. You got this? Did you get all these answers here? If you did, you are a legend. Good job. Awesome work. Good work. And again, today we are just finishing off the unit circle, showing our unit circle knowledge. So, while I was going fast, the red is the 30-degree angle, the blue is the 45-degree angle, and the green is the 60-degree angle. Those angles are essential because as you're going through the unit circle, they're all going to have the same exact response when you try to find the reference angle. Again, when you subtract for the reference angle, all the angles going to refer back to quadrant 1. Alright? So, why don't you pause this video at the moment and try doing these trig ratios yourself? Pause and just see what you can do. Welcome back. Let's see what you got. Did you get these answers? I went a little too fast, but you can go back and hit that part. That's the good thing about recorded videos is when I'm going too fast, you can always rewind and go back. So, conversions. we should know how to convert. So when you're going from degrees to radians, you're going to divide it by 180. And whatever your answer is, you're always going to have it like pi over some number when you're going from degrees to radians. I already told you how to do this, so when we try to get to 30, I'm trying to get it to radians, 30 divided by 180 is going to be pi over 6. I cancel out the zeros. The greatest common factor of 3 over 18 is 3. I get 1 over 6, so that's pi over 6. If you could do 30, do 60. Do it right now. Pause the video. Welcome back. See what you got. Oh, we got to talk about 45 degrees, so convert 45 too. So pause the video again to 45. Alright, let's check our answers. It's not pi over 6 for 60 degrees. It's pi over 3. 45 degrees is pi over 4. Good job. Alright, so you know how to do the reference angles. So let's go over these right fast. In quadrant 1, wherever the angle is, I say, if I said find the reference angle of 75 degrees, guess what? It's 75 degrees. If I'm asking you to find the reference angle of 110, or let's just say 100. Well, since 100 is in quadrant 2, because it's past 90 degrees, so you're going to go 180 minus 120. That's going to be 80 degrees. Alright? So if I was to say 200, because I'm in quadrant 3, I'm going to go 200 minus 180. Alright? If I was to say 300, because I'm in quadrant 4, it's going to be 360 minus 300. Alright, so you're going to, you yourself, is going to find these reference angles. I did the first one for you, so I did that one for you too. I want you to pause the video and do these on your own. I'm going to show you how to get to these answers in a different way. Pause the video. Welcome back. So let's go see how we get to these answers. So I told you 30, 45, 60 is going to be essential. So 30, 45, 60. So I'm going to go ahead and do 150 and try to find the reference angle of 150. Well, 180 minus 150 is going to be 30 degrees. Alright? So if I do 135, 180 minus 135 is going to be 45. And then 120 to find that reference angle, 180 minus 120, therefore you get 60. And it's going to repeat all the way through. Just like that. Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. I'm a little tired. So in quadrant 3, if I'm looking at 210, I just got subtracted from 180. I get 30. 225. Subtracted from 180. I get 45. And then 240 minus 180 gives me 60 degrees. Not bad. Alright, so I'm going to look at 330, I believe. Because 330 is quadrant 4. 360 minus 330 is going to be 30 degrees. 315. 360 minus 315 is 45. And 360 minus 300 is 60 degrees. And I just found the reference angles of all what I just did. Again, if I'm going too fast, slow the video down. That's the whole purpose of doing just that. Alright? So, another thing I wanted to do before I move on, you see this common point 1, 0? 1, 0, well 1, that's the radius of the circle. So the point is, the origin point is at the origin, right? And then if I draw that line, and thus where I go, all these gonna have the radius of 1. And your radius is your hypotenuse. And I'm just drawing lines and stuff. But remember, these are your coordinate points, and it's gonna be cosine and sine. Tangent is not real. Let me repeat that again. Tangent is not real. I say it's not real because tangent is made from when you divide sine over cosine. On your test, I might ask you to prove that tangent, that sine over cosine is equal tangent. And you're going to do that yourself by doing the trig ratios. So, keep that in mind. Alright, so let's convert this and convert this, going back to reference angles, and find our reference angle given the radians. So I gave you the radians this time, I didn't give you the degree. But if you want to be lazy, you could do this. Although the direction says convert, you don't need to really convert, so don't waste your time converting. You have to learn to convert from degrees to radians because that's part of your test. But when I'm trying to, so when you given the radians, you try to find the reference angle, this is easy. So don't look at that. Don't look at your numerator. Don't look at the 5. So if you scratch that out, that's going to be pi over 4. And we know for a fact that pi over 4 has the degrees of 45. And you just converted that, you just did all that. You converted and you gave me the reference angle. You did that all in one swoop. Alright, so good job. And there are going to be questions that you're just going to be smart to do just that. Alright, again, 30, 45, 60. So let's go with these easy conversions. 30 degrees is radian form is pi over 6. 45 degrees has a radians of pi over 4. And then for 60 degrees, it has pi over 3. These are very, 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 very essential. Alright, so now we get into the hard part, dealing with trig ratios and the quadrants. So listen up. We know sine is opposite of the adjacent. Y'all know y'all basic three trig ratios. The thing that you guys get confused about is knowing your trig ratio, your inverse trig ratios. So the inverse trig ratio of sine is called cosecant. The cosecant, you're going to rewrite it as C S C. Cosine, its inverse is called secant. It is S E C. Tangent, the name of that inverse is called cotangent, which is COT. You're going to know all of that during your test. So slow this video down, make time to study it, practice it, have it down pat to the science. So look, to get into the details of this, we have to pay attention to our coordinates. So if cosine is x and sine is my y, and tangent is made from sine over cosine, that means that all three of these trig ratios are positive in quadrant 1. Alright, in quadrant 2, again, cosine is x, sine is y, tangent is y over x. In quadrant 2, sine is the only one positive because do not forget, you think your x and your y in quadrant 2, all your y variables are negative. And because when you divide by a single negative number, tan is going to be negative 2. Now quadrant 3, cosine and sine are both are negative. As a result, tangent is the only positive one because you are divided by two negatives. And again, y'all, I'm working with the mouse. Be grateful that I'm even doing this for you. So be humble and grateful because I don't have to do this. I could just teach, and go about my business. So, in quadrant 4, cosine is only positive because we know everything to the right side, x is positive, even though that sine is negative. So because you have a negative between the two, tangent is going to be negative too. So tangent is only positive in quadrants 1 and 3. And again, I keep showing you this because I need for you to really know what you are doing. Do not come to the class or come to my test acting brand new. Don't do it. Do not do it. All right. So, in most of my classes, you guys got this down pat, and because I went over it. But in my one of my classes, I think I didn't touch on this. So to find secant, which is 17 over 8, and it's between theta, before I continue, theta is just pretty much says secant of x. So they're saying that your degree, x, or theta, is between 0 and 90 degrees. What is cosine? So we know in quadrant 1, the degrees are between 0 and 90, so everything is positive. So let's find cosine. So if you are struggling with this, every time you do these problems, write out your trig ratios. Write them all out. So write out sine being opposite over the hypotenuse. Write down cosine as adjacent over hypotenuse. And then write your tangent as opposite over your adjacent. And the inverse of sine is cosecant, which is the hypotenuse over the opposite leg. And then the inverse of cosine is cosecant, which is hypotenuse over adjacent. And then your tangent is cotangent, which is adjacent over opposite. And you're going to do this every time. I'm doing this, make you do this, because this is the only way you're going to have this mastered down. So after that, go draw your triangle. And let's go ahead and label parts. So we know the secant is the hypotenuse, which is 17. And then the adjacent is 8. So now we know that secant is the inverse of cosine, so that's going to be 8 over 17. All right. And again, I'm showing you this because it's not my responsibility for you to have this down pat. You want to know this. All right. So if cotangent is 3/4 and theta is between 0 and 90, meaning that measurement is between 0 and 90 degrees, what is cosecant? What quadrant am I in? I'm in quadrant 1 still because 0 and 90. So on your test, you going to have to write down all your trig ratios. But in this video, I'm not going to do it for this particular problem. Because cotangent is, we know, is the adjacent over the hypotenuse. I mean, opposite leg. And we got to find cosecant. So, I'm going to label the triangle right fast. So, my adjacent is 3. And then my opposite is 4. I gotta find cosecant. So why don't you pause the video and find out? I mean, do it yourself to find out. Pause it right now. Do it. All right. Welcome back. By you using your Pythagorean theorem you know that the hypotenuse is 5. So we know that cosecant is going to be hypotenuse over the opposite leg. Good job. I will erase all this for you so you can see how I did it. Alright, here you are. Pause the video if you need to take your time. Alright, so you have a terminal side of an angle, theta, in the standard position, intersect the unit circle at 6597, 72 over 97. And we gotta find cosine. Now, in this video, I told you that when you're looking at the coordinate pair, cosine is your first coordinate point, and sine is gonna be your second. So, using your common sense, you're gonna know the cosine is 65 over 97, because it's the first. Now, if I was asking you for sine, you would say 72 over 97. Now, what I need for you to do is to figure out how to tangent. To do tangent, you know tangent is, get rid of this question. So we're not doing cosine no more now. We're doing tangent. Again, we are doing tangent. So tangent is sine over cosine. Because I told you earlier, tangent is not real because it depends on sine and cosine. So let's do this. So sine is 72 divided by 97 divided by 65 over 97. Now we know how to divide rational numbers. Don't you dare say fraction. Don't you do it. Rational number. So keep 72 over 97. Change division to multiplication. And let's reciprocate 97 over 65. Because that's cosine. So let's see what we could cancel out. 97 cancel out. So what I'll be left with is 72 over 65. And again, 97 cancels out. Those cancel out. So 72 over 65. On your test, you're going to have to prove this without giving a coordinate pair. You're going to have to prove, let me erase this. You must prove, you're using the words in your classroom, what you've been taught, you must prove that tangent equals cosine. The best way for you to do this, again, I'm not telling you how to do this, I'm just giving you bits of information that you're going to use to get to it. Do not come to me. Listen, you never taught us this before. I'm not going with that. You have been taught. You just not using your mind to figure things out without me holding your hand. So here's a triangle. Just like I did from this triangle. Do your little trick thing, you know. and do everything like I did in the previous problem where I was trying to find tangent. So you saw how I cancel things out? I need for you to do that with your trig ratios. And that's all I'm saying. So rewind the video if you misheard that and just, pay attention to how I did tangent of the problem we just scratched out and apply it to show me the tangent equal sine over cosine by applying your trig ratio knowledge. Alright, I'm done.